From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back to KPIX 5 this morning. The time now is 6:29. I'm Emily Turner.
Good morning. I'm Devin. Fehely. New this morning, a violent crime on the streets of Santa Rosa. Officers say a 21-year-old man was walking on North Dutton Avenue around 9:40 last night when he was approached by at least two suspects. Police say that one of the suspects pulled out a black handgun and shot the victim twice. The suspects then ran away. The victim was taken to the hospital and is being treated for life-threatening injuries. The gunman is described as an Hispanic man in his 20s wearing a gray and black plaid shirt, blue jeans, and white shoes. Santa Rosa police say they won't release the name of the victim due to the violent nature of this crime. But anyone with information on this case is asked to call the police. You can remain anonymous.
San Francisco police credit de-escalation tactics and training for a big drop in use of force incidents. The department's latest report shows a 47% drop over the last 3 years. Police counted 500 total instances of use of force in the third quarter of this year. That's down nearly 25% from last year, and the report shows the drop was generally uniform across all demographic groups, and no incidents resulted in death. The department credits its ongoing crisis intervention and response training. Now, Chief Bill Scott said in part, quote, "From our footbeats to our station staff, we are committed to working with our communities to increase trust and build an even safer San Francisco." On the flip side, though, the report also showed that assaults against officers are up by 7% from this time last year.
Would you rent out your property to a convicted felon? Soon landlords in Berkeley may not have a choice. A proposed city ordinance would drop the criminal background check requirement for most rental units. City officials say their goal is to prevent homelessness and give former inmates a better chance to reintegrate into society. Similar laws already exist in San Francisco and Richmond, but those only cover public or subsidized housing. Berkeley's measure would include private rental units.
Well, San Francisco officially has a new district attorney. It was the most hotly contested election in San Francisco. Chesa Boudin took the lead on Susie Loftus by more than 2,400 votes. And with only 1,200 left to be counted, those numbers prompted Loftus to concede the race. KPIX 5's Betty Yu on how Boudin and his supporters celebrated that victory.
Supporters welcomed Chesa Boudin to El Rio with cheers and applause. His agenda as San Francisco DA is clear.
I know that there's a lot of distrust between San Francisco communities and law enforcement. And my first job is going to be to roll up my sleeves, to work with everybody, all stakeholders, all communities, and make sure we can rebuild that trust so that we're all safer.
The bar was bursting with supporters and big smiles.
Oh my God, I'm in heaven! I'm in heaven! We took our city back!
I think that he'll bring a whole new attitude to the district attorney's office, an attitude focused on dealing with the root causes of crime and not just locking people up.
That was the premise of Boudin's campaign, diverting people away from the criminal justice system and toward rehabilitation. The former public defender has also vowed to hold police more accountable in cases of brutality. Just weeks before the election, Mayor London Breed had appointed Susie Loftus as interim DA. Loftus said in a statement, in part, "I didn't win the race, but we won the support of so many San Franciscans who are demanding that our city work more effectively together to build safety." Boudin learned of his win on a plane this evening. He was on his way back from New York, where he was visiting his father in a New York prison. His parents were both incarcerated as members of the Radical Weather Underground for their role in an armed robbery in New York that left 3 people dead.
We talked about it. He was supportive, and I think, like most parents, concerned for our family and for our well-being in the midst of the tremendous responsibility that we've taken on to work to serve all of San Francisco.
Betty Yu, KPIX 5.
Boudin says that his first personal order of business will be to marry his fiancée. He plans to enjoy his honeymoon before he gets down to work. But the San Francisco Police Officers Association had this to say about Boudin's victory. Quote, "Unfortunately, the election results mean that San Francisco residents will have to suffer through another 4 years of the George Gascon-style policies that have plagued our city and decimated public safety." Those folks are shouting F the POA, by the way. Tensions were on display there at Boudin's election party Tuesday night as the crowd expressed anger toward the Police Officers Association and its attempts to sway voters against the candidate. The union funded political ads and sent out numerous mailers against Boudin and in favor of Loftus.
In Richmond this morning, the search is on for a man suspected of shooting 2 homeless men with arrows. It happened early yesterday morning in the marshy area along the Bay Trail south of Central Avenue. 2 men and a woman were camping there when the arrows started flying. The woman wasn't hurt, but both men were hit. The victims are in stable condition. Police say the suspect was last seen wearing a heavy jacket with white fleece and a blue backpack, riding a purple bicycle. If you have any information, police want to hear from you.
A construction worker is in the hospital after falling 40 feet from a platform in San Francisco. It happened yesterday afternoon on 11th Street between Mission and Market, which is really close to the Civic Center. The worker is listed in serious condition at a trauma center, but no word yet on how that accident happened.
The Port of Oakland is reporting a healthy increase in exports despite the trade war between the United States and China. Exports were up more than 10% in October compared to that same time last year. Most of them went to Asian markets. Now, port officials say they are seeing increased shipments to Asian countries other than China, where volumes are down due to the ongoing tariffs. Now, overall, in the first 10 months of this year, exports from Oakland were up 3.5%. Well, Iris Chang Park is now open in North San Jose. The acclaimed author is known for the 1997 book, The Rape of Nanking, The Forgotten Holocaust of World War II. The park is near Montague Expressway. It's getting it named after Chang took some work. Her parents started a campaign gathering more than 200 signatures from the North San Jose community where the family lived.
We always seek in San Jose to honor our community facilities, or to name our community facilities after people who have played an important role in the community or in the world. It gives us a sense of identity, it gives us a sense of history, and so in the role that she played in the world as a best-selling author and a humanitarian and civil rights or a human rights activist is really important for us to honor.
City leaders opened the park yesterday on the 15th anniversary of Chang's death.
And a walk to end Alzheimer's. KPIX 5 joined hundreds of people yesterday for that common goal. The annual fundraiser is, of course, near and dear to our KPIX team. Our sports director, Dennis O'Donnell, lost his father to Alzheimer's, and he emcees the event every year. My father also suffers from that same disease. And at last check, this year's fundraising total was at just over $1 million. Many of us are waking up to those foggy conditions. That should clear right around the lunchtime hour or a little bit later, depending on where you are. And then it's going to remain clear into the beginning of next week. The warm-up is going to kick in tomorrow as that high-pressure system really starts to settle in. And then by about the middle of the week after that warm-up, that's when we'll start to see things ease up and then begin to cool back down. Tomorrow is a 3-day weekend for many of you, so it might be a good day to hit the beach. Sunny, clear, beautiful, and the warmest day of the week. Devin.
Yeah, beautiful fall day. Thank you so much for joining us. CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Polly is next here on KPIX 5.
Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great week.